Hey, my name's Willoughby and I do the local voter education program. I was looking at the school board agenda and I noticed they had a special meeting with a grievance there. So I called to find out what some of the cases were. Well, they told me they couldn't tell me. They can't tell us what they say. Now think about it just for a minute. We pay for the building down there. We pay their salaries. We are a part of this city. We are equal to them. Okay? They couldn't tell us. Now, I can understand some cases when it involves children and stuff, there may be some privacy it needs to be, but there's no reason why they cannot give some description. Anyway, I went to the meeting, and if you'll notice on here that they can't tell you anything about it. But number two up there, public comment. So I signed up to speak. I have no idea what I'm going to speak on because they couldn't tell me anything, but I signed up to speak anyway. So that's what I spoke about. I told them, how come I can speak when you can't tell me what I can speak about? That didn't make sense, did it? Okay, but anyway, one of the cases involved, I believe, some teachers or a couple people that were bilingual and have higher quality skills, and they were getting paid the same amount as people that have less skills. And I can understand they have a good, I believe they have a legitimate argument there. They have a legitimate grievance. And why this couldn't be told or shared or put in, I don't understand. I had to go down there and find this out. But anyway, that's what their thing was. Now, I don't know all the details, all the insight on that, but looking at it from the outside, what I would like to know a little bit more about, true, they deserve more salary when you have more skills than other people, that your skills should be rewarded. That is true. But first, I'd want to look at the other people that are getting paid the same as them and see if they're not being overpaid. And so I think we ought to start right there and look at what the salary these people are getting paid that are underqualified getting these kind of salaries. Maybe we need to cut that down. Then and if these people with a bilingual and then has the extra skills, if they're at a fair salary now, they don't need more pay, okay, if they're at a fair salary. They do have a complaint, other people making the same amount of money as them, but if they're making a fair salary, then the problem lies with us overpaying underqualified people, which doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me if we do that. So I think the whole coin needs to be looked at a little bit more, and that's why I'd like for them to be more transparent, put it a little bit more on the agenda, so if anybody else does want to know what's going on, you don't have to, but at least we should always know we're a part of it. But what they're doing is they're isolating us from the city. They want to keep us separate. Us down and them up, look at them, they rule us. And that's not the way I'm fighting. I'm fighting for us back being equal, eye to eye. Actually, we're supposed to be above our local government, but I'll be happy with just equal and not below it. That's fine with me. Just equally treated and done, and that we are a part of it, recognized as part of this government. We're not recognized by the school board. They don't answer questions. This is something that the school board, city council, the commissioner's court, they all have two things in common. One is they don't answer questions. Now that is amazing. And until we start making these people, hold them accountable to answer, they're not going to answer questions. That's all there is to it. They don't have to. And that's terribly wrong. That is the premise of this job. If you ask what the premise of a bricklayer's job is, it would be written out to say that he lays bricks. That's the premise of the job. If you lay out the premise of a lot of elected official is, it should say answer questions, and they don't. That's the premise of the job right there. So number one, across the board, even though I think getting free speech back at City Council is very high on my reach list, but this is very important too without it. We got to quit putting people in office that don't answer questions. We got to start making them. This is stupid. Allow them being there. But anyway, this is what part of this is. Not to answer questions, so that when they do something wrong and there's a grievance, they can keep it out of our eyes and cover it up. Basically, that's what these rules are set for. There is no reason why they cannot give more description on these cases on there. They should. You should be able to call and ask more. Also, the ones that involve children, if the parents, which one was last night, and this is what I'm going to get right here, his thing was that they're not responding to him. He has a problem with something with his child at school, and they're not answering. There we go. We're right back to it. They don't answer questions. Geez, this we can't live with. We've got to put a stop to this. Number one, they have to start respecting us and answering questions. I don't see why you can't be on board with that. You got to be on board with that. And that's what his case is. But his is behind closed door. I couldn't watch it. It's behind closed door. And I believe those that involve children, if the parents don't mind it being publicized, it should be publicized so they can have the support of the people behind them, because they're going behind closed doors with crooks. Our school board members are no more than crooks. That's all they are. Anybody don't answer questions is a crook to me. That's it. They don't defend it. They don't deny this. They just don't answer. And they're not to be trusted. And that's who they go behind closed door with, the people you can't trust. So if the parents have a problem and it involves their child and they prefer it to stay privately, that's fine too. They should have that obligation. But they also should have the same, if they want it public or not. Because if I got a problem, I want it public. I want everybody to see what the school board's doing so that everybody can see them. When all the eyes are on them, they're more out to be fair. But when they can go behind closed doors, you can't trust them. No one's to hold them accountable. But anyway, this is something that needs to be changed. Same thing in our school, our ISD. There I go again, that's the wrong word. Same thing in code compliance, city council. Code compliance officer, I had to go to a case there. I wanted to see what a person can get fired for with code compliance. I was really curious because everything I sent them, they don't do anything about it. They can lie, cheat. I mean, there ain't no reason, you can't fire them. And I had to go see. And there again, they don't tell you. They don't put it out what the reason was. It's kept secret, but you had to go. You can go and see. And what one case was, well, one of the employees authorized the wrong house to be demolished. Well, that was a mistake, all right. That was an accident mistake. But that's why he was removed from the job or being fired, because they demolished the wrong house. But accidents do happen. I think it ought to be more, people make mistakes. I don't know, if the person has a track record of other mistakes, then they shouldn't be dismissed in they should be dismissed in a non-biased way. They just weren't qualified for that job, that responsibility if they have. If it's just a one-time error thing that accidents happen. They do happen to everybody, no one's above them. So I think maybe on a probation to watch them, they make a mistake like that, something like that, but firing, I don't think necessarily, just unless they have a track record of that. But nevertheless, that's what this brought up a case. The guy had the wrong house bulldozed down. But these things need to be more, not secret, publicized, open, that we can see what's going on the websites. We have the technology to show all this stuff on there. It should be. But that's what I've learned overall. The name of the game is not to let people know. We're blanketed down by our media, everything. Schools teach not to know what's going on. This keeps them on a pedestal and us outside the rim when we are equal. It's our money, our city, our responsibility. I'm trying to get it there. And anybody can be a leader out here. Form your own group. Form a group of they must answer question group, okay? I don't care. And make Mayor Parker answer, why did she give police chief $5.5 million? There's a good question. Why did she remove free speech from city council agenda? There's another good question. But we don't ask them and we don't hold them and they don't answer. What should be frightening is what we can see on the surface is terrible. But what they're doing behind the scene, there's no telling. God only knows what they're doing behind the scene. These people are not to be trusted. So put our future in a better direction, get back on track, people are going to get involved. And that's why I go to these meetings, why I'm doing this, hoping that If you know what's going on, there's a better chance you might get involved. And if you don't know what's going on, you're not going to get involved. Join us on YouTube, if you will. We're trying to grow that site there to get more sponsorship money and stuff like that. But anyway, and what we want to do is keep bringing local stuff here that we're not sharing. So anyway, I think that's the end of this video, and we'll see how it came out.